Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by to watch another episode here at Investing with alliseeisW, where we talk about finance, personal health, and self-development. Well, today I wanted to make this video to share with you my insights on Inovio Pharmaceuticals and why I feel bullish on this company ticker weeks, months to come. Now, from what I learned this week is that Inovio Pharmaceuticals released news to the shareholders that its VGX platform vaccine candidate is demonstrating positive results in phase 2 clinical trials, at least for efficacy for patients with precancerous dysplasia, and it's showing that the vaccine is actually working. So can you imagine if and when these products get approved, whether it's going to be sexually transmitted diseases, whether it's going to be cancer tumor related, such as glioblastoma, right? INO has the INO 5401 supported by Regeneron, and it's also working on a MERS vaccine, which is in phase 2 clinical trials. And the INO 4800 is actually a derivative of INO 4700. So if the vaccine candidate for the MERS is demonstrating safety and efficacy, then it will likely display the similar results for INO 4800. And that's what we're beginning to see, because with phase 1 clinical trials, Inovio Pharmaceuticals has passed that stage. Now it's currently in phase 2 clinical trials, where news was released that Americans were dosed with INO 4800 with a scale up to about 400 to 500 patients. Now, what I've learned today is that in China, at the Shanghai hospital, patients were being immunized with the INO 4800 as well in phase 2 clinical trials. So not only is the United States and China working on phase 2 clinical trials using the INO 4800, but also we have Australia and South Korea performing phase 2 clinical trials on the INO 4800 candidate. So as you can see, there's plant sites in the United States for clinical studies. There's clinical studies in South Korea. There's clinical studies in Australia, and there's clinical studies in China. That alone just tells you that there's not only clinical studies being evaluated domestically, but all around the world. So that will just scale up if and when we start gathering more data on positive results with efficacy. We know that INO 4800 is safe, so there's no concerns there. Now, I feel like with the current wave 1 vaccine manufacturers like Moderna and Pfizer, we anticipate that there will be serious adverse event reported once the vaccine becomes commercialized and people start taking it. And I feel like most people will feel like this is a necessity, where this is the only vaccine, so we have to take it. Now, once there's news about serious adverse events with injuries or deaths potentially reported, then I feel like the consumer market will be turned off, and the consumer will start shopping around to see whether there's other opportunities. And that's where the needs versus wants comes into play, because when you have multiple vaccine manufacturers to choose from, for example, an DNA platform-based technologies such as Inovio Pharmaceuticals, then a patient can just elect to use the INO 4800 as opposed to an RNA-based vaccine. So that will be in the hands of the patient and the clinician to be able to decide what they truly desire. And it's really going to be based on the attractiveness of the vaccine. When I say that's attractiveness, that's the safety and efficacy, the quality of the product. And if and when Inovio Pharmaceuticals gains more recognition, where it gains solid news through the phase 2 clinical trials, I feel like people are going to begin to trust and respect DNA as opposed to RNA. Because what we learned is in the prior months, when Dr. Kate Broderick presented at the University of California, Davis, you can actually pull up that podcast and just go through the content again. But there were UC, professors as well as clinical physicians providing their takeaway on why RNA is so unstable compared to DNA, and that can potentially lead to serious adverse events once it's commercialized. So letting the science speak for itself, if you have top professors as well as physicians claiming that RNA is less stable than DNA, then I'm just going to go with the science and not let the politics come into play. But it's all based on the race to getting product approval right now from health authorities. That's what's really triggering the increase in the share price. However, I feel like with Inovio Pharmaceuticals, to me, I feel like what's the value of releasing your peer review of phase 1 clinical trials at this time? I feel like you should hold on to that until you start hearing bad news about other companies. And then once you release that data, I feel like that's when Inovio Pharmaceuticals will be viewed as the golden child. And that to me might be the reason why Inovio Pharmaceuticals is holding off on presenting or showcasing their phase 1 clinical trials, because what's the value in releasing that when you're still in clinical trials, right? So await until the wave 1 vaccine manufacturers commercialize, and once you hear negative news publicity, then Inovio Pharmaceuticals can leverage and report on their positive news outcome. And at that point, the perspective will start changing, because that's when people will want to choose the better vaccine as opposed to people thinking there's only 1 or 2 right now, which is still in the necessity phase. So that's why I feel come with time, the wants versus needs will come into play, and that's when Inovio Pharmaceuticals will take off. And for me, I'm a long investor of Inovio Pharmaceuticals. My exit price is $80 to $100, because I feel like this is barely the beginning for biotech, and Inovio Pharmaceuticals is positioned to be a part of that growing for its future value growth in its share price. So overall, I just wanted to make this video to share with you my current thinking on just my vision looking in advance into the future. And I feel like Inovio Pharmaceuticals will be positioned to gain on positive proceeds. And for me, at least by end of year up through Q1, Q2 of 2021, we shall see some solid positive growth with the share price of Inovio Pharmaceuticals. And most importantly, as investors of Inovio Pharmaceuticals, we are aligning with the purpose of the company, right? To really advance clinical unmet needs for patients, right? What if your family member or your friend will take this in the future? You can be a contributor to say, hey, I supported that company because I believe in what they do with their purpose, and whether Inovio's purpose aligns with your true purpose. And investing is not always about just, focusing on technicals and momentum, right? It's about choosing the right company that you have a belief in, and whether it aligns with your purpose. That's how I view it, and that's why I'm a long investor. And overall, I just wanted to make this video to share with you my thinking of Inovio Pharmaceuticals. And thanks so much for watching. And please make sure, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe for more related content. So once again, thank you so much for stopping by to watch another episode here at Investing with All I See Is W, and let's gain on positive proceeds all. Thank you.